What is going on, guys? It is Daniel Wright, and you are here listening to another episode of Paving the Way. I hope your Wednesday morning is going fantastic for you. I hope your week has started off great. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Like I said on Saturday, we're kind of getting a little taste of fall weather here in the Carolinas, and I hope wherever you're at, you're getting to enjoy some of those fall season vibes just like we are. So, guys, I know this time of year for anyone in the outdoor industry, really just actually scratch that. For anyone in life, this time of year I feel like starts getting a little bit tight, right? Like you're starting to feel the crunch of like the end of the year. We're in quarter four, got only 2.5 months left before the end of the year. And whether you're in business, whether it's your personal life, whether it's you're planning holiday things, so on and so forth, like this time of year, things just start to ramp up, right? And with that comes pressure. With pressure comes adversity. Adversity is inevitable. That is like a fact, regardless of who you are, where you're at, what you're doing. Everybody faces adversity. And something that I wanted to make sure that everybody knew and understood was what it means to face adversity. And I think a lot of times we kind of get caught up in the whole, oh, my life should be perfect, or my life shouldn't be this hard, or why is it only me that's doing this, or having to go through this right now. Everybody kind of gets into this little like this mentality of what they think life should be like instead of really just looking at it as it is. And to me, when it comes to facing adversity, it's not about the adversity you face, it's about how you show up to face it, right? So there's a lot of times, like I said, this time of year for us, it's fall, so weather's starting to cool down a little bit. Our main business is doing pavement maintenance, seal coating, crack sealing, line striping, so on and so forth. Fortunately, we're not in the north or the Midwest or things like that where you get a lot of, really bad winter weather. So we don't go into this like hibernation season like some companies do throughout the country. But we drastically slow down. Our services that we can provide due to weather or due to just time constraints. Some people say, hey, this has to be done by the end of this year. If you can't do it, we'll find somebody who can. Things like that. We just start to get really tight with everything around here. And for the last several years, it's been the same story week in, week out after Labor Day. I tell everybody on our team, I'm like, look, Labor Day to about the end of October, maybe even sometimes to Thanksgiving, is just kind of like whatever it takes season. So we all know that when we show up every day, that it's just whatever it takes. A lot of times this time of year, people talk about, the days blend together, or they can't remember what they did on what day because it all just kind of runs. And, as much as we try to, keep everything as organized as possible, as balanced as possible, things like that, it just gets tough. It gets tough physically, it gets tough mentally, emotionally, relationally, things like that. But the way we face the adversity is what matters. Because, like I said originally, the adversity is inevitable. It's going to happen, it's going to occur. So it's not about trying to avoid it or trying to think that you shouldn't have it. It's about knowing what you're going to do when it comes. And for me, one of the big things that I always look at when facing adversity is I try to remove myself emotionally from the situation, right? It may be something that I don't want to have happening, that's stressing me out. It's wrong time. I got other things to deal with, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I remove myself emotionally from the situation and look at it from just a pure factual standpoint of, okay, what is the problem? What is the adversity that we're facing right now? Then I go past the solution, right? I go to the end result. I go to say, okay, here's the problem and here's what we're trying to get to. What things in between do I have control over? And the things that I have control over are the steps taken from the adversity to the solution, right? So if it is say it's an example of a client wanting to get a seal coating project done, but it has to be done before, the season is over. Okay, so the adversity is they're throwing a big old project on us that we want to try and get done for them before the season's over. The solution, like I said, is getting it done before, like the result that we're trying to achieve is getting it done before the season is over. Well, the steps in between that, you can just say, okay, get it done, right? Well, it's not that easy. I don't have control over the weather. I don't have control over suppliers and vendors being able to deliver us products on time. I don't have control over equipment and it being finicky when it's cold out or things like that. What I do have control over is our schedule. What I do have control over is our preventative maintenance on our equipment. What I do have control over is ordering our products in a timely manner so our vendors can get them to us on time. So you have to kind of reverse engineer the situation that you're facing. So, like I said, problem, get a big project done in a short amount of time. End result that we're trying to get to, get the project done in the short amount of time. The steps in between, only the ones that I have control over, that I can touch, that I can do, is the ones that I focus on. Everything else, I forget about it. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy. It's not worth my effort to try and change shit that I can't actually change. So, in your situations, what is it that you're facing right now? What adversity has come to you in this moment in time, in this time of your life, whatever it is? What is the adversity that's in front of you? What is the challenge? And then what are you trying to get to? You know, it could be a personal situation. Maybe it's your relationship. Maybe you and your significant other are facing just a difficult time right now. You got a lot of friction. Well, you can't control what they say. You can't control what they do. You can't control how they think, how they feel, whatever it may be. What you can control is what you say to them. What you can control is how you respond. What you can control is how you feel. So if you're trying to resolve an issue with you and your spouse or your significant other, and you want to get to that end result of a happy relationship, focus on the things you can control. And when you focus on that, you can start taking steps in the right direction. So, like I said, guys, facing adversity is something that is absolutely inevitable. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. Whether you're in a position where you're this, executive CEO running a Fortune 500 company, whatever it may be, that everybody thinks that you got it all together, or whether you're freaking working for $15 an hour at the local hardware store. Everybody faces adversity. It's just different times, different circumstances, different stories. It's all the same, though. And how we deal with it, though, is what makes the difference. Because I can tell you guys right now, facing adversity has been one of the biggest struggles for me over the years. I care so much about the results I'm trying to achieve. I care so much about the relationships that I try to nourish and I try to, take care of and things like that. I care so much about our brand and our image and what we put out to people on a regular basis. I care so much about that, just like you probably do in your life. And so when I have these adverse conditions, I take it personally. I used to take it emotionally and internalize it and think that it was a me problem. When instead of attacking myself and saying, well, Daniel, why didn't you get this done? Or you should have done this better. Instead, I've learned to, like I said, extract myself emotionally, look at it factually, and then figure out what steps that I have control over to solve that problem. Since I do that, yes, it's still a headache solving problems. That doesn't go away, right? It's still difficult. It's still frustrating, whatever it may be. But the taxing, like the emotional tax and the mental tax that used to take on me is significantly less. And I'll be honest with you guys, when you start to do this, people around you are not going to understand it. They're going to say, man, you're just heartless about this, or why don't you care about that, or why don't you consider this? And it says, the simple answer is because I can't control those things. I have no say over how somebody else feels about this. I have no control over what the weather does. I have no control over what the stock market does, right? So like you have all these things that you're facing, focus on the steps that you can take that you can control to overcome the adversity. Those are the things that's going to push you on. Those are going to be the things that differentiate you from the other people around you. Those are going to be when you see the most gains in your progress and whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, is how you face the adversity. Because everybody else wants you to say, well, you probably just need to go home and take a nap. Or, well, pour yourself another drink and that'll fix it. Well, you need to, go, take a sensory walk with nature and that'll take care of it. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. I'm all for being able to disconnect, reset, and reevaluate situations. That's another topic for another day. But when it comes to facing adversity that comes to you head on, that you have no choice but to address, you have to figure out how to deal with it. And figuring out how to deal with it is by identifying the steps that you can take, that you have control over to get to the result that you're trying to get to. So, guys, I hope this was beneficial for you. I know I kind of rambled a little bit there. Maybe one or two people is going to relate to it that's going through some adversity right now. I'd love for you to share some of it, maybe that you're either going through and want to get some feedback on, or if some stuff that you've overcome, on the, if it's on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that, put them in the comments. Let us know what you're going through and see how, maybe us or the rest of the people can help. So we're all in this stuff together, guys. This life ain't easy. That's why God put billions of people on the face of the planet to help each other through it. So I appreciate you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. If you need anything in the meantime,